Okay, keep in mind, I wouldn't probably do this every game where I buy like a Wraith Band or a Bracer or some stat boosting item to accentuate your lead. I know I said earlier that like it's usually something you want to do, but it's not like an autopilot decision. Like most things in Dota are not autopilot decisions. If I was against a super aggressive lane like a Monkey King or an Ursa plus one very powerful support like an Ogre or a Bane or something like that, I might consider not doing that, like not buying a stat boosting item in the early game, because I just would never be able to trade against a lane like that. But in this case, I'm against like a pretty strong support in the form of Bane, and a not completely auto win the lane hero like Void, such that I feel comfortable being able to buy a stat boosting item before my other major early game items such as a Windlace or boots or power treads or something like that that I think I can just bully the sky a bunch. And you're seeing that I'm kind of just doing that right now. Slardar's trade pattern is pretty much always dictated around how many charges of Bash the Deep he has. So every time I have Bash the Deep up, you see that I'm like either trying to play aggressively on him or trying to play aggressively on a range creep, because range creeps win you the lane. Here, I saw earlier that Bane was double stacking the wave, which means that he wants to pull it. My Techies is correctly rotating over here to take this double stack. This is a really good play by him to place 2 mines here. We're just kind of zoning out the Bane, and we farm the entire thing. So all of that EXP and gold we didn't miss out on, because he double bombed it. So we got all the farm. It was all on Techies, which is a little bit unfortunate. I would have liked to get that farm, but I can't really do much about that. Like, level 1 W isn't going to be clearing an entire easy camp stack by itself. So it's fine that he did that. And the other important thing is that we got all the experience in that stack. The lane got reset because the Bane did double stack that wave and then pull it, and so Void correctly didn't like ram our oncoming wave into his next oncoming wave. He just like ran it around the tower, and so the wave completely got reset. And so now we're just back in the neutral state of the lane. They got that deny, which is really unfortunate, but you see that like it's kind of just the power of Slardar and a hero that's not completely useless like Techies. And you might laugh at that, but like Techies has merits in lane. I don't know if you're in the 3K bracket and you heard me say that and you think to yourself, what the fuck, Wired? Techies is a useless hero. You're not playing with good enough Techies. Techies is actually, he can be a very powerful lane bully. All he needs is a hero that can kind of set up his Suicide Squad attack or whatever the fuck it's called now. I think it's called, I did a video on this way back when I first got back into Dota in like March, blast off. But yeah, like Techies is a hero that, Slardar can set up really well for. So he's just playing into that strength. 5-minute bounty runs are going to spawn, so both supports will go fight over that. So that just kind of leaves me solo against the Void, and you're seeing, like, look, I'm just hitting him, just constantly hitting him. Every time Bash is up, Bash of the Deep is up, I'm just like trying to threaten this hero. So I'll even walk in here under tower. I move command. That's something that you can do as Slardar, is you can move command if you have the move command hotkey set. I'll show you. Mine is set to X, so it's probably down here. Yeah, move command. You can move command when you're under tower. I set mine to X like I just mentioned, such that you won't draw creep aggro or tower aggro until you actually are on top of the hero and right click them. That's just a little tip you can do to try to not draw tower aggro super hard. And then we're just going straight back to last inning. He got that deny, which is unfortunate because I prepped it for him, but either way. Here I'm just buying a wand. I don't even know if wand is necessarily correct. I'm just trying to I'm looking at my items and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of slotted. I don't want to get rid of any of these items. Like Quelling Blade is pretty important for me to be able to last hit. I actually, looking back, I wonder if Quelling Blade was even the correct decision. I think it got me a few last hits early on that maybe I otherwise wouldn't have gotten if Void was nearby. But generally speaking, like I said way earlier, like at the start of this video, Slardar's like a lane bully, so it's kind of difficult for Void to even approach this lane. Here you see Earthshaker comes down and just doesn't get to do anything because we have a Techies. Which is, again, like, it's another one of the powerful things about Techies is when you're in these tree line areas, like, it doesn't matter how many heroes they send in you early game, like, you're just a threat because the bombs do so much damage and the trees hide the bombs. So now, even though they completely left this Darkseer alone, it's like they can't really do much to this lane. You see, we're still cognizant of the fact that Earthshaker can be in this localized area, so we're not like, I'm not trying to overcommit on this Void. I'm just trying to secure lane control here. We're gonna go on this Void here. I think he's gonna suicide. I'll walk over here. I miss my stun. Feels fucking bad, man. Doesn't really matter. I don't know if I would have gotten the kill, but either way, it would have been nice to get that extra damage. The reason I say I don't know if I would have gotten that kill is because I had no procs on Bash the Deep. So even if I had landed that stun, it would have taken it probably would have taken specifically me hitting him 4 times and getting the Bash the Deep, which is just unlikely in a 1 second stun this early on in the game before I actually have items to increase my attack speed. So sucks that you know, I missed the stun there and missed some extra damage, but it was pretty much the ideal situation either way. Techies died but didn't actually give gold. He suicided, and I didn't take essentially any damage, and Void came out of that trade like actually losing HP. So again, one of those reasons why Techies is not nearly as bad of a hero as you may make him out to be in your pubs. If the Techies player's smart, like basically most people that complain about Techies, especially Techies being on their team, they're complaining about the Techies player not playing Techies correctly. They're not actually complaining about Techies, because Techies, if you know how to play him correctly, it's actually a pretty powerful hero. Like I said, if he just gets a little bit of assistance in the lane, like if he has some hero that can set him up, or set up for him, he can do quite a lot in the lane early on. But I digress. I think I explained my early game items correctly. I don't know if I explained this win lace, but generally speaking, and this is something I've been doing a lot more on offlaners just in general, but this especially applies to a hero like Slardar, who has a percentage-based movement speed increasing ability. You just want some form of movement speed early on, and win lace is a good way to carry you up until drums. But with that being said, I don't think this only applies to Slardar, right? Even though Slardar's, you know, one of the only heroes besides Bat Rider, I guess, that has a percent movement speed boosting ability. Most offlaners, like Night Stalkers, basically just heroes that want to stay in range of you, like Dooms as well, can justify getting an early win lace. This is something I see not considered enough, even by high-level players, is just pick up a win lace. Literally pick it up while you're on your way to boots. It's half the gold of boots. Like boots is, you know, 500 and win lace is 250, but it gives 20 movement speed, which in lane is very, very powerful sometimes against heroes like Juggernaut, against heroes like Ursa, against heroes like Monkey King. Like, you just want early movement speed. It's so much more difficult to just rush boots in a lot of those very tough lanes where you're against a hero like Juggernaut, against a hero like Ursa, against a hero like Monkey King. Like, it's hard to rush boots because they're contesting every little last hit you get, right? They're just up in your face, they're right clicking you, they're critting you if they're Jug, they're getting Jingu Mastery stacks or Fury Swipe stacks if they're Ursa or Monkey King or Ursa respectively. Like, it's so much easier for you to just buy a win lace, which is half the gold, and have that extra movement speed to play around than it is to just rush boots. And so win lace is something, it's just a powerful item in lanes that, I mean, in lanes that you're getting bullied, it's powerful. In lanes that you are the bully, it's also powerful because it gets you into, I mean, that's why also, by the way, those heroes, every hero I just mentioned, at least certainly Monkey King and Ursa, but I think Juggernaut as well, usually go win lace this patch, first item before boots, is because, yeah, like I said, like, it lets the bully harder, and it lets the person that's getting bullied have an easier time running away. And then when both of those heroes get win lace, then it just cancels each other out, and then it's kind of funny. But either way, I mean, it does make more of a difference on Slardar than most of those other heroes, because like I said, you do have a percent movement speed boosting ability. So it's not like it's worthless on a hero like Slardar if I was against an Ursa that bought win lace as well, because I would still get more out of it than he would. But either way, so here I recognize that Void's been gone from my lane for about 2 minutes, so I ping his jungle and I'm like, I think Void went to jungle. I want to stay in the lane personally as a Slardar until at least I get, like, I think my drums here, and you'll see I have it queued up before power treads. I think this is a correct decision. I don't know if I end up doing this or if I end up getting power treads first, but I do think that in this game, this is the kind of game where I can certainly afford to get power treads first. I'm looking top, and I think I'm telling my team, like, okay, we already gave up mid tower, because I don't know if you recognize, but it was like 7 minutes 30 seconds when they were taking my mid tower, because my Pango lost the lane pretty hard. It's understandable. Pango has a hard matchup into Lina. Most heroes do, but I think we could have done something on this mid tower. I remember talking to my team like, hey, can we fight this? We have Pango ulti. Like, Pango ulti is all we need really to fight this team fight here. Especially given how much I smashed the Void. Like, we know Void's not going to want to show up to this, and we have Pango ulti, so we can just roll into the Lina and stop their push, but we didn't end up doing it. So my team is like, okay, let's just do the same thing, or let's just do what we should have done mid, top. And so if you see, like, I am pushing this lane, but I'm trying to look top. I'm not, my hero camera should be centered on it right now, but I'm not. I was pinging, I was like, hey, let's push out this lane, this mid lane if they're going top, and then let's go top ourselves, right? So push the mid tower in, and then go top to try to fight them, because we know Void's going to be in their jungle. So I'm looking top, I'm looking top, I'm looking top. And, like, if I can continue to get this free farm and whatnot, like, I'm going to take it. Like, I'm not going to TP until I need to. But it just doesn't look like my team wants to fight. Like, again, the Pango's sitting here farming this easy camp. And, of course, like, I don't think we need Slark to show up. It doesn't even make any sense for him to really show up. So we go in here, and it's just like, it would just be so nice if I had a Pango ulti right now. But I don't. So this just isn't working. We get Lina to half HP, but it doesn't matter because it's like we can't really jump on her. She's super quick and she has 2 supports behind her. And you can just see kind of like even Slark shows up. It just doesn't matter. Like we need Pango's ulti here. It's just farming. I don't know. You can tell I had some definite disagreements with the way that my Pango played this game. Because just imagine if we did have a Pango ulti there. But I digress. Like this isn't all about like wired flame. Look, I went power tres before drums. Like I said, I shouldn't have. So I've certainly made my fair share of mistakes here. But either way, it wasn't too bad, right? We got Lina. We traded Techies for it. I don't even think Techies actually died. I think he suicided. No, he did actually die. But either way, like we kept the tower. Those are the important things that happened. The sucky thing is, of course, I had to rotate. So instead of being level 8 or 8.5 here, I'm level 7.5. Because I've been splitting EXP the last little bit of time. Like I said, if Pango had showed up, maybe I'd be a higher level because maybe we would have got more kills, but that's the last time I'm going to talk about that. The important thing is we didn't lose that tower, and we killed Lina, so we slowed her down, and we slowed their push down. Here they're just going to go straight back top and run their heads against that tower again. I want to explain my skill build for a second here. So basically, Slardar, you typically want to go as many points of bash the deep as is necessary for you to basically just like run the carry out of lane. And the reason you want to do that is Bash the Deep is a free ability that charges pretty often. When you compare that to something like Slithering Crush, you have to spend mana on this ability, and the damage on it doesn't scale that well when you consider the fact that you're going to only proc it every 8 seconds, right? You're only going to use it, you're only going to have the opportunity to use it every 8 seconds. Whereas Bash of the Deep, like your Slithering Crush sets you up in the early game to get 1 Bash of the Deep and usually like 2 or 3 extra right clicks off on it. Basically, whenever you Slithering Crush in the early game, you should be set up for like 1 to almost 2 bashes. And this is all suffice to say that you just proc this ability often enough that leveling it doesn't actually end up being bad. Like old Slardar before the rework, you'd almost never level this ability up until you had these 2 abilities maxed, because it was percentage based. Like it was completely RNG whether or not you actually hit the ability. It wasn't completely, it was a pseudo random distribution, but it was still RNG. It was something you couldn't rely on. Now Bash the Deep being a charged based ability that procs every 4 attacks, it's a very reliable skill, especially in the early game when the enemy kind of has to, you know, they have to lane, they have to be near the creeps, but they can't really afford to be near you whenever you have it up. So Bash the Deep is one of those abilities, and it scales really well too, right? It goes from 50 to 100 damage, literally doubles in damage from 1 point to 2. And then from 2 points to 3, even though it doesn't double in damage, it still gains 50 damage on an ability that you're just very regularly proccing. And it gains 0.1 second instant duration too, which is not negligible. All this is, again, like suffice to say that you want to put points in this ability. Again, it's completely free. It doesn't have any investment in terms of like mana cost or anything along those lines. It secures you range creeps. It just makes you a powerhouse. And when you get your ulti, like you just you destroy people. You just like you ulti them, and then you walk up, you bash them, then you Slithering Crush, and then you almost bash them again. You get close enough with your bash stun bash combo of your like hit them twice, like you hit them once with a bash, like you prep your bash, walk up when they're ultied at level 6, you bash them, you hit them again, you Slithering Crush, you hit them 2 more times, and then your bash is ready again. And it's like you just do so much burst damage that leveling up your bash is primarily how you're going to be doing damage. It's going to be how you're doing farm. It's going to be how you're doing everything that you want to do early game as Slardar, such that you basically want to put as many points in it as is necessary for you to win the lane. And then past the laning phase, you want to start leveling Guardian Sprint, because it's how you're going to be getting in range of heroes. So here you see I go back top because I'm trying to slow down their push, but I'm just getting like all these spells cast on me. And we have a tree ulti, but we don't have our Pango here, like, because again, this guy just doesn't want to fight. He's looking top. He's TPing in now that the tower is dead, and now that like I'm super low. But like this guy just didn't want to fight, and like I just don't understand it. Like I don't know. I played, as you can see, as you saw earlier when I was looking over my games. Like I played 2 Pango games after this because I thought to myself, like, dude, Pango is not that hard of a hero to make good rotations on. Like I don't know why this guy's making such a mockery of the hero, but then I fed in both games, so I have really no reason to talk. Like Pango's a hard hero, I'm sure, but when it comes to those rotations, those are some of the easiest rotations I've ever seen in my entire life. If I was the Pango player, you know, Pango's a med hero that can rotate and make a lot out of his early game kit. Like but most mid heroes can do that anyways. If you're playing a Void Spirit, if you're playing a Lina, for instance, this game, like most mid heroes are heroes that want to rotate around the map early this patch, and like I just don't understand why this Pango wasn't rotating around the map, dude. But either way, we lose mid tower at 7 minutes 30 seconds. We lose top tower at 11 minutes and 30 seconds this game. Things are looking pretty bad. Slark's been free farming, which is good, but we've lost all of our sense of map control, at least in terms of our towers, our early game objectives. If you watch my other replay analyses, you know how much I value those towers because of their TP vantage points, because of the vision they provide, because of the rune control they provide. Like, it's so important to keep at least the mid tower, but even the safe lane tower, if you can hold it till as long as possible. And unfortunately, we just don't do that this game. So we look like we're in a disadvantageous spot. But this is where if we can come back from this game, I think this should really show if I'm a relevant factor in that, and I am. If we can come back from games like these, I think I can really show you guys how to do that effectively. So that's one of the reasons why this is a good replay to look at. I should have net worth up just in case you guys are curious. Here I have my drums, but because we lost those 2 towers and because they're not pressing any of our objectives, we're not necessarily looking to fight. You know, we certainly could look for a fight when Tree's back up, because Tree has ulti. Techies is a hero that can fight early game. Pango has his ulti, like, and I have drums. That's all we really need to fight. But you know, without these towers, and we're looking at like Slark getting gone on here. And again, like Tree was dead. Like without these towers, it's difficult to like play around. It's difficult to make fights happen. So like Tree, you know, finally responds, but then Slark's dead, and they're just fighting on this side of the map, and we're about to give a tier 2, and it's like, you know, Slark is dead, and then Tree just died. It's like, you know, there's no reason for me to even show up there. It's just looking really bad. They're gonna push our tier 2 now at 13 minutes and 45 seconds in the game. Again, this is one of those games that you can look at and be like, dude, Wired, how do you ever win this game? Like, I don't even understand. They're pushing a tier 2 at 13 minutes 50 seconds in the game, right? Now, admittedly, that's not exactly like a good thing for them, right? Like tier 2s are really hard to take this early on, and they're spending a lot of time grouping as 5, or grouping as 4 rather. In most games, grouping as 4, it's kind of like 4 protect 1 meta right now. Like in most games, typically you want to do something like what they're doing. I think they're doing it a little bit too much and doing it a little bit too aggressively. Like their Shaker, for instance, is level 7. He was like level 5 when they were pushing top earlier without Echo and stuff. Like they're not prioritizing. I don't think like their support's getting levels as much as they could have been. At this point, it doesn't really matter because they are like, you know, they are level 6 or level 7 in this case on Shaker. They are level 7 on their Bane, so they have the ultis they need. But like in this case, right, they're still pushing our tier 2. They've been sieging it for a while, and it's like you can't play this aggressively for this long without getting punished for it. So I'm gonna go in. Pop my drum charge, get the Bane low. This guy's gonna miss his wall. I'm just gonna kind of run away from the wall because I don't ever want to give them an illusion, or I don't want to ever give the Darkseer an illusion of mine. It's pretty powerful. I'm staying on the outskirts of fights. I'm trying to put corrosive waves up. I'm like zoning the supports. Here I'm gonna go on the Earthshaker, and I'm just gonna get Yulesed. I can't remember if I get popped here. No, I don't. Every time we're fighting in the river, it's good because my hero runs really quickly. I'm gonna get netted here by this little Dark Troll Summoner, but I'm gonna dip out because my hero's quicker than it, even when it has Surge. And effectively, like, I don't even know if that's a good fight per se, because Void's been farming that entire time and Slark showed up, but I guess we defended our tier 2 and Pango's been farming this entire time. Again, these are all things that, like, I remember looking at my Pango here and I was like, how did this guy use his ulti? Like, I didn't see a Pango ulti anywhere in that fight. And I think he used it to unsuccessfully try to kill the Void earlier. I'm not entirely sure, but like, this is just derpy shit what we're doing. Everything that we're doing, like we see these really good fights that we could be taking, and we're just kind of botching it, so to speak. Like, I guess we got 2 runes out of that, 3 runes out of that. No, we didn't even get 3 runes out of that. Void got 1 of the runes. Like, this is all just incredibly botched shit that we're doing, and it all goes to show that, again, if we can come back from a game like this that we're just getting pushed in and not like effectively basically not effectively responding to the pressure that they're placing on the map right now, then it should go to show like how much of a game this, well, how much impact rather I have in this game. So here I get my Blink Dagger because I've been farming in between all these fights, and with a Blink Dagger I know I can do stuff. Like basically with a Blink Dagger I know that I can get on the Lina and pretty much successfully chain bash her. Not to death because I don't have enough damage for that yet, but I can get her CC'd enough such that my team can effectively play around it. And you'll see this Pango finally rolls in, has this Blink Dagger, so he gets the double roll off, and this is just a really good fight, right? I think they do take our tower. They do take, yeah, they do take our tier 1, which is really, really bad, that, or tier 2 rather. It's really bad that they took that, because now they can pressure our outpost. But the positives are obviously that we're going to completely, well, not completely, we're going to wipe 4 out of 5 heroes that they have here. This Darkseer is going to go for a kill on the Roche there, or a suicide on the Roche there, but it's unsuccessful. And then usually a Slardar, when you win fights like that, you wouldn't look to go take Roche on. Now I'm still level 11, which means like I don't have level 2 corrosive haze, but once I get level 12 here, you'll see that like my mindset kind of changes. Because when you have level 12 is when you get the second point in your corrosive haze, as I just said. And when you have second point in corrosive haze, you can effectively always like threaten a Roche. Doesn't matter how bad your team comp is at taking it, because you just provide so much damage for it. So here, like, you know, I'm gonna get hurt by the Lina, but it's okay. Tree can heal me up. I have a lot of natural base health regen, even without Tree. Like I have 9.3. It's not a lot, but like, you know, all that damage that Lina did, I think they should have been able to kill me there. By the way, I know Bane didn't have ulti, but like Lina did. I feel like I was overextended. Like we don't have any vision here. I didn't, you know, say for instance a fissure hits me there or something like that. Like I probably could have died, but that's neither here nor there because I didn't. And a common game trend I've been noticing, or at least recently, is it's 18 minutes in and I still don't have a neutral item, because when I was checking for the neutral items at the 7-minute mark, my entire team had these. You know, like the keen optic was on the techies, the Pango took the Ironwood tree that he didn't use, like, and then now Slark is swapping out his Iron Talon for Ring of Aquila, but the Slark did have the Iron Talon, which is fine. I don't mind Slark having Iron Talon. I just think that if the Pango was going to take a neutral item, he should have fought with us. But again, I said the last thing I was going to say about that was like 3 times. It was like 3 comments ago, and here I am still talking about it. But yeah, this is definitely a mistake that I'm making in my play, not getting a neutral item. I almost feel like I should have just bullied my team out of getting one. Like I definitely should have told this Pango, like, hey dude, if you're not going to fight with us, give me the neutral item, because I'm actually going to be participating in T-Bites. But here, like, we're getting caught out, so there's nothing really to join there. You could say, like, Wired, why don't you TP top and stun them? Well, if I stun them there, it doesn't really make a difference. Slark's still probably going to die, and the more important aspect of me TPing top there is that I'm not pressuring mid, right? Like, even if I am, say, for instance, able to save Slark there, which I know I'm not, he's getting gone on by 4 heroes. Nothing was going to save that guy there. He didn't have ulti. But again, like, even if I did do that, for instance, and it did save, like, just assume best case scenario, it does actually save the Slark. The problem with that play is we're not applying pressure to this tower that we need to get killed. Like, well, this tower is just too much map pressure for them. And you see, like, Bane just wastes his ulti there. So we have a really, really good opportunity here to fight, and we just take advantage of it because Bane wastes his ulti. So I had him Slardar ultied. The Darkseer here, I have him Slardar ultied now. Just gonna look to play aggressively. I'm not gonna play super aggressive. Like, just because Lina and Bane are dead doesn't mean that we can just like win any given team fight that we want to ever take. But here we're gonna kind of look to take Roche here. We're not actually going to be able to take it, but I'm telling my techies, like, hey, mind Roche. You know, we can certainly fight this if they ever go to it. You know, we have a techies basically. Like, that's a really good reason to get control of Roche, because if we can get control of Roche, we can mine the fuck out of it. Void goes in here, but he doesn't have Chrono. I think my team communicated that to me. Let me just pop the Void because my ulti is really powerful at making heroes squishy and shit, or heroes appear squishy. And Pango rolls in this guy. I'm just right-clicking him. And this is kind of how we're coming back into the game. It's because, like, you know, we're taking really good fights in situations where, like, it's, you know, around the river is always a good place to fight as Slardar. But also in situations where, like, you know, Void doesn't have ulti, we're able to pick off the Lina first, Bane wastes his ulti. All of these are, you're kind of seeing, like, how we got back into this game. And since we took the fight top, this is what I was telling you guys earlier, is when we're playing top, we can always look to take Roshan immediately afterwards, because if we win a fight in the top lane, then we can just go straight to it and take it. Now, in this particular case, the enemy does a really good counter initiation via basically Earthshaker revealing his Blink Dagger to get, like, a really sick kill. But Slark doesn't die Keely, and I don't die as well, and Pango has buyback. So even though Pango buyback probably wasn't necessary here, it's going to secure Roche, and they essentially just wasted, I don't want to say this, they essentially just used, fuck, what's this shit? Echo Slam. They just effectively used Echo Slam, so we know that we can fight here, right? So even though that looks sketchy, we still took the Roche, we still killed both their heroes, like their mid and their Echo Slammer, their Earthshaker, and then Void comes in and he wastes Chrono, doesn't get anything with it. So this is just like super ideal scenario. I think I do go down here. Yeah, I definitely go down here. But this is still just super ideal because Slark has, like, he's able to run around basically with Aegis, like, just super, super good situation. We take Aegis. Slark is staying alive in all these fights. He's getting a lot of us and shift stacks, by the way, too. That's another reason why we won this game, I'd say, is because they were never really able to effectively deal with the Slark. And yeah, so we're sort of crawling our way back into this game. It's certainly not over, but they gave up a lot of the advantages that they had in the early stages of the mid game by just playing as aggressively as they were on our side of the map. I don't necessarily mind them taking our mid and top tower. I think those were good plays by them, but them pressuring this tier 2 was really, really ballsy on their part. And the reason for that, I've talked about this in other videos, but the reason for that is because tier 2s just do a million amount of damage. They give your team like a million amount of armor. It gives them like 2.5 or 3 armor in an aura. It also, they attack really quickly, and so when you pop Glyph, they attack like a machine gun. They just like attack 4 times per wave of attacks, and they attack super quickly. So they clear creep waves, they clear heroes really effectively. And yeah, you just don't want to fight into tier 2s here. I should show this, not that it's relevant, or not that it's as relevant to the Slardar replay analysis aspect of this video, because it's not Slardar, but it's Slark getting gone on, and kind of, I think he dies here, throws away Aegis. It's really unfortunate. I'm looking here, I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's been so long since I've had a neutral item. And then I finally look top. When do I finally look top? I finally look top. And Slardar dies, and I'm like, oh shit, guys, we gotta go help Slark. Like, he's respawning, we could maybe turn this. They just use the Luna Blade. They don't have any of their ultis. Void's dead. So I come in here. I should have blinked like a half a second earlier so I can get a stun on Lina. If I had stunned the Lina, it would have been really good. But either way, we don't have the rest of the team there. We're just never set up, like, you know. Again, like, and I say this in the team chat, but like, it doesn't feel like Pango's farming around us. And it feels like Tree should have been there as well. I think Techies was like in an awkward situation. I can't remember where Techies was. But it's literally just like I was the only one there besides Slark. It kind of feels like this is just a 4K game. I've noticed that trend, and I've told this to other people too. Like, no matter what bracket you're in, it feels like every game is just kind of around the 4K bracket, unless you're like high 8K. Like in most games that I watch, it feels like there's enough of these 4K-esque mistakes going on that I don't really see too much of a division between like 2K and 3K, or 2K and 5K even. It's just how I've been feeling recently of the games. But either way, a little fight happens here, and before I'm just like completely demolishing myself by saying this is the game that got me to Immortal, and I'm now just saying like, well, it doesn't matter that I'm Immortal because every game just feels like it's in 3K, or every game feels like it's in the 4K rank. Either way, I blink on the Lina here. I don't blink on the Lina. I blink around the Lina because I'm trying to clean her up, but I think I should have actually blinked into the enemy team. I did have time dilation on me, so I didn't have Slither and Garage up, but the thought process is still like solid, that like Lina was getting picked up by Slark and the rest of my team. I should have been going for the more important targets. Not the more important, I mean, Lina's a really important target, but like she was already being dealt with. And then here I just landed a really good stun. You'll notice the way that I'm playing Slardar in this game, like obviously the items that I'm buying, like, you know, drums, and then blink. Like drums just really, I recommend almost always going drums on Slardar, and there's a lot of heroes that can say this about their kit, like Doom, Night Stalker, etc. Like drums is a really powerful item this patch, just in general, on offlaners especially, because offlaners are often like the heroes that want to get tanky, they want to bulk up, they want to run at you, they can make use of the extra mana regen, and when they pop the active, they can just go super ham. Slardar's a super good example of this because he can make very, very, very good use of the 45 attack speed and 13 movement speed that you get from the drums active, but also like he can build the item really easily. You know, it's an item that has a very simple build up, a bunch of small items that don't require a whole lot of gold to them. He can just get it very early on. So I recommend getting drums for super good, or super early on, but like after I get drums I get blink because I need to have a form of initiation that's not just literally running at heroes, and then after I get blink I go Echo Saber because I want to be a relevant damage source this game, in a form of like popping heroes. Like I want to be able to jump on Lina and just pop her. I want to be able to jump on Void and just pop him. I want to be able to jump on like Bane, for instance, and just pop that hero. Like any hero I jump on, I mean, ideally my combo is something like Blink, Corrosive Haze, and then hit them, and have the hit be a bash, and then Slither and Crush, and then continue to hit them. I know that's not super reliable because I'm relying on a non-instant stun. Like instant stuns, I mean, Slardar doesn't really have an instant stun, but closest you're going to get to an instant stun is blink right click with bash prepped, because your right click will come out super quick with Echo Saber, but I actually want to be doing damage when I'm right clicking them, and the only way I can do that is if I put Corrosive Haze on them first. So the way that I want to do it is blink Corrosive Haze and then right click when the target has -15 armor. for 2 right clicks, one of those right clicks being a Bash of the Deep, that's going to deal like 260 plus my right click damage worth of damage, because I take the Bash damage talent and in the actual damage talent. Like, you can see I'm trying to pop people. And look, see, here, I don't, it's not instant, and it's enough time for her to get a stun off, which is probably a mistake, but the thought process here I think is still solid. Like, I blink, I put Corrosive Haze, give her enough time to get a bash off. I think the reason that I gave her enough time to get a bash off was because, or to get a stun off, was because I had farmed this mid wave instead of prep. I should have like prep my bash or something like that, because I give her enough time. But either way, put Corrosive Waves off, I still do a crap ton of damage, and I think we still kill her here. I could be wrong. Yeah, we still kill her, which is the important thing. But I should, if I'm going to do this, I think I need to have bash prepped, because if I don't have bash prepped, it just takes way too long to get my stun off. Like, I don't necessarily dislike the idea of blink corrosive hazing and then right-clicking somebody who's solo, but if I'm going to do this, like I said, I need to have a bash prepped. So like here, for instance, when I'm farming these ancients, I should take careful mind to make sure that my bash is either at 2 or 3. The bash counter is at either 2 or 3 before I go and look for another kill. So like here, I should go into the easy camp, and I think I do. I could be wrong. No, I push out mid. It's a little bit difficult to do, because like you don't want to just not farm on Slardar, right? You don't want to just like, okay, I have 3 bash it, or I have a 3 hit, I have 3 hit counter prepped. Like, I'm just gonna go fuck off. You can do it if you use corrosive haze when you're farming to kind of like line it up. It's kind of stupid, like how you need to think about it. Like, it takes a lot of brain power, I guess. Like here, okay, I just kind of happy accident stumbled onto it. So if I blink corrosive haze and then right click somebody with my Echo Saber and my bash prepped, like they should just die almost. And I think that's what we'll do here. So he's farming, I just saw him use his shit. And then we just go over here, corrosive haze, and look at how quickly this guy does. And of course I'm getting on here. Got the tree ulti, got Echo Slam being used. I think I'm going to die, yeah, but the commitment that was used onto me was too much for them to actually win the fight when they don't have Echo, right? They had to use 2 ultis on me in the form of Echo Slam and Laguna Blade, and they don't have a Chronosphere to like effectively deal with the rest of my team. So I still do over half of Void's health and damage, and my team can just kind of somewhat mop up. I mean, it's a considerable investment out of our team. Like, we lose 3 heroes, you know, of course myself, but then like Techies with the suicide, and then Tree dies. But we kill the Darks here. I think we forced a buyback on Earthshaker. I don't think we forced that. I think he used that preemptively. He shouldn't have, or when he shouldn't have. But it's 3 for 3. We got a buyback out of it. They don't get to do anything with it. And then what else? We took we took Echo Slam out of the equation because we made them use Echo Slam. And we did use Tree Ulti. It's not like we used nothing in term of that. But like here, you know, Slark's able to farm their side of the map, so he's able to find kills on heroes like this Bane. I think the Bane was overextended. I don't think the Bane needed to die there. But like, whenever our heroes are trading lives for their heroes, as long as our Slark is living, I think it's worth it. Because Slark is getting that. Because if our Slark is living, that probably means he's getting permanent agility through his agility steal, and that also probably means that he's able to farm their side of the map and force all of their heroes to play back. Because of like the nature of Slark, like how much he can threaten them if they don't. So I think it's generally favorable. They're looking for this Earthshaker that just bought back. I think they find him. Yeah, there's no way this guy gets out, I don't think. He blinks right now. Ooh, he TPs. He's gotta be able to. Yeah, that's a good TP by him. Really well played by the Earthshaker there. And then Treant's dying to what did he die to? Faceless Void there. That was bad by Treant to die there. But either way. Here, I'm gonna go Solar Crest, so I don't think I explained Echo Saber actually. So I go Echo Saber here. It's just a really good item on Slardar. It's an item that you can also turn into Silver Edge later on if you want to. And it's a good item to buy this game. Like, it's good to, well wait, does it even, I don't know if it disables Time Lock. I could be wrong about that. Seems like Time Lock's that kind of ability. If there's ever an ability to not get disabled, it'd be an ability like Time Lock. Because there are some abilities that aren't affected by Break. Let me look this up. I definitely wasn't thinking about like, oh, I need to disable Time Lock, but actually, yeah, you can disable it with Break. I don't know if that's like reason enough to get it. It's not like the Break is like this super key component to me getting Silver Edge here if I were to get it. Silver Edge is, I don't want to say it's like a generically good item, but it is a pretty damn good item. So I guess it's kind of generically good. Like, the stats on it are pretty sick, but you would never spend 6,100 gold on an item that just gives stats. Or at least very rarely would you ever do that. I'm trying to think of an item in the game that even costs that much. I guess like Divine Rapier costs 63, right? And it just gives stats, but It's very rare that you'd ever buy this item for the stats alone, even though the stats are nice, right? Especially on a hero like Slardar, you can make a lot of use of the damage and the attack speed, and the Echo Saber component of it. But the real reason you'd get an item like this is to just move around, pretty much unfazed. Like, you know, they can't see you. Like, you get to play like a Slark basically and look for solo pickoffs. But I opt not to get a Silver Edge this game because I think Solar Crest is more important. Why do I think Solar Crest is more important? Well, Solar Crest is just an amazing item to put on Slark. It gives him a bunch of movement speed, it gives him a bunch of attack speed. Both of those are very, very good stats to have on Slark. It lets him play stickier, and attack speed is super good on Slark because it means he gets more Echo Sense or Essence shift procs. It also makes him tankier because it gives him armor, and Slark's a hero that they need to burst down early or quickly into a fight. Otherwise, he's just going to be able to, you know, kite them all throughout the duration of the fight, get a bunch of Essence shift procs, and eventually become a monster. But the real reason I think I get Solar Crest here is because, like, it does everything that I want. It doesn't just beef up Slark. It also makes Void, or whoever I choose to blink on, super squishy. Like, it gives me solo kill pressure too, right? Like, even if I, like, fuck Slark for a second, even if Slark isn't even in this game, if he's disconnected in the fountain, like, Solar Crest is still a pretty good item because I can blink on somebody, Slithering Crush, then pop my ulti, pop Solar Crest on somebody, and suddenly they have, like, minus 35 armor, or minus 30 armor, and then I can bash them, like, 2 times, and they die. It also makes them slower, and of course I'm going to be quicker, because it makes me quicker. It gives me all stats, so it does give me a bit of attack speed. It decreases their attack speed, so if I put it on Void, I can man fight him. Like, this item is just amazing, and more people should go this item. Even if you're not a hero like Slardar, who has a lot of synergy with the item, due to the fact that he does a lot of physical damage, and he can make very good use of the minus armor specifically. It's also good on heroes like Night Stalker, who maybe can't make use of the armor. I mean, minus armor is really good on pretty much any hero that wants to right-click, of course. Slardar does that more so than the hero like Night Stalker, because Slardar does a lot more physical damage than Night Stalker, but, like, it's still a pretty damn good item on a hero like Night Stalker. More so for the movement speed, in my opinion, because Night Stalker really wants to, like, be in range of you all the time. But either way, like, I digress. What I'm really trying to get at here is Solar Crest is just a sick-ass item. It makes you really good at taking Roshan, too. Like, again, this is really fucking good. And you see here, like, I'm not able to put my Solar Crest on Alina, and I think I should have put it on my tree, but I didn't. But just with my ulti popped on her alone and, like, one right click, I'm able to pretty much kill her. Or I'm able to pretty much do half of her HP. And so here, I'm just trying to stay in range. If I can just get on top of her, I kill her, but I fuck up here and run into the I fuck up and run into the stun, so it makes the situation weird. But Slark's coming around, so we should be able to kill at least one. And look at, like, literally, I didn't even put Solar Crest on that guy, but look at how quickly he died with nothing but Corrosive Haze and a few Slark in my right click zone. Like, we just do so much damage. And yeah, it would be minus 35 or minus 34 because of Corrosive Haze, minus 4 armor talent. Also, I mean, I don't even need to say this, but, like, Solar Crest, of course, really good because it makes you even, like, an even greater threat against Roshan. I mean, you're already super good against Roshan anyways, because of course you're ulti, but when you put Solar Crest and Corrosive Haze on Roshan, it's just going to die super quickly. Also, Roshan gets very little time to actually retaliate. Should put Solar Crest on him too. Look at how quickly it does. We're doing 200 damage. I'll right click against it. I take the cheese here, but I don't think I use it. I do swap it out for my power, or for my wand. No, I swap it. Originally, I'm like, should I swap this out for drums? But then I'm like, no, drums gives me movement speed. I think it's more important to have the movement speed than it is to have the extra little bit of, well, not even little bit. Like, wand is a pretty damn good item, but it's hard to justify keeping wand over something like a stick. And here you'll see I keep the Enchanted Quiver. Enchanted Quiver is just, like, even though I'm not a ranged hero, it gives you a crap ton of damage, and or a crap ton of burst damage, which is kind of what Slardar's all about. So you see, like, I right-click this Void with Solar Crest and Corrosive Haze on him, and look at how much HP this guy loses. Right, this isn't like a squishy hero either. Void at this point in the game, I think, has 2k HP. Yeah, 2.2k HP, and he has like 26 armor, 27 armor. But look at all this HP that he loses almost instantaneously. All I do is blink, stun, put my ulti, put Solar Crest, and bash him for like half his HP. Right, and I mean, he's just done. Like, if he doesn't Chronosphere in this fight, he's just useless. So yeah. You can see where, like, my itemization makes a whole lot of sense when you think of it from the perspective of, you know, I'm a right clicker, and I also enable my team. I know a lot of Slardars like to go items like Pipe, or they like to go these team fight items like Vlad's and shit. And while I do think I was even considering going an item like Vlad's this game, it is pretty good for Slardar, for well, it's good for Slardar, of course, but it's also good for a hero like Slark. I opted out of going items like that because what I wanted to do was, well, I didn't feel like I could rely on anybody besides Slark, and I didn't feel like if I put all of my chips in the Slark basket that he would be able to necessarily deal with this game by himself. So I'm still going to go items that help him, like of course Solar Crest is an item that helps Slark, but I'm also going to go items that help me because I want to be a relevant hero this game too. I don't want to just completely rely on him. Because like I said, if they just focus him with a hero like Void and use Chronosphere on him and Lina ulti, then we might just lose the fight that way. So I instead choose to buy items that help Slark for sure. Again, item like Drum, generically good. Item like Solar Crest, generically good. But I'm also going to buy an item like Echo Saber, which makes me powerful. So that was the decision I made this game. I think I like it. I think I like my build quite a lot. Here I have 4,600 gold. I'm saving for buyback, but if I could buy my next item, it would probably be BKB. This is where I get to tell you that like an earlier BKB, say before either my Echo Saber or my Solar Crest, is also a perfectly fine purchase. You don't need Echo Saber this game. It's just a nice item to have to enable you to get solo kills and to enable you to help your team out. But getting like a Solar Crest BKB or BKB Solar Crest is a totally fine purchase this game too. Basically items that make you immune to everybody except for Void, and then playing around Chronosphere are kind of good items to buy this game if you're the Slardar hero, because as long as you're not getting chronoed, you know, you can, like, and even when they chrono, it might bait their team, because if they chrono and I have a BKB, that means that once they chrono the Slark, I can blink stun their backline, which is Lina and Bane, and they can't do anything about it because I have BKB, right? And they're probably using Bane ulti on somebody besides me because I'm in the backline, I'm not showing. So that's one way that I could have played this game, and I think it would have been perfectly fine. In this particular game, I grab the sleep, or I take the sleep off the Slark, and the Slark mistakenly, I can't imagine this being anything but a mistake. Slark uses his ulti right as he's about to die with his first life, which means he can just get chronoed. And here, even though I blink on the Lina, it doesn't matter. Partially because I have, you know, no BKB, so I get heals afterwards, but also partially just because like Slark gets way too low without ulti that he has to back up. And we essentially, I don't want to say we lose that fight because we, you know, kill 2 of them. We don't lose anybody besides our techies, and we force a Bane buyback. Well, we kill 3 of them and then we force a Bane buyback. But here we go back in. This is just a really bad fight from us. I don't think we actually lose. No, we did lose Slark. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna be able to clean some of these heroes up. I didn't pop cheese because I was stunned. I think I should have popped cheese preemptively here. In fact, I know I should have. When should I have popped cheese? They just have so many means of stunning us that, like, when I get even to half HP, I should consider using a cheese. Like, honestly, right here, I should consider using cheese because of all the ways they have the stun. I should use it right here. Hold on. Yeah. I should have used it. I should have used it right here. This is where I need to use cheese, because it doesn't take anything but, like, a Lina stun. It doesn't take much beyond a Lina stun to pretty much shut me down when I'm at 1/4 HP. So, we get team wiped here. Luckily, I have buyback. I don't even think I need to use it here, because tree's up and we have a tier 2. Yeah, we have a tier 2 and Lina BKBs. My courier comes out too for some weird reason. And then here, since I have BKB, I think to myself, you know, like, cheese is a much better Slark item anyways. Like, that hero really, I don't want to say Slark only has 1 life, because Slark doesn't have 1 life. Like, Slark has Essence Shift stacks now permanently, which is, this change to Slark, giving him the ability to permanently steal agility, made Aegis a little bit better on the hero indirectly. Slark used to be this hero that once he dies in a fight once, even if he has buyback or even if he has Aegis, it doesn't really matter because he loses all of his Essence Shift stacks, and his first life is often like his most important one. Now that's not as true because he has, like, you know, the ability to steal permanent agility. So even if he dies and loses all of his Essence Shift stacks, well, he still has like the innate agi that he's been stealing all throughout the game. I'm not saying that this change alone made it so that Slark is useful with Aegis, I'm just saying it helped him become a more relevant hero. And just in general, like, even Slark without Essence Shift stacks this game is going to be a powerhouse because he's such a slippery hero with his axe, right? He has a lot of damage now naturally through, like, the Silver Edge purchase that he made. And yeah, like, he's a strong hero with Aegis, but he's also a strong hero. My point with all of this was just to simply say that he's a strong hero with Aegis, but he's also a strong hero with cheese. So I want to give Slark cheese. Here we take an interesting fight. I say interesting because I didn't know that Lina had Daedalus. And I think she also has Axe, because I think she ults me. Yeah, she has Axe too, through BKB. So she's sitting here right-clicking me, she ults me, and then I'm just getting melted by this Lina. And we just take a really dumb fight, basically. I want to go over this fight real quick just to talk about why it was bad. So first issue is we don't have any vision of their team, so we don't have any huge need to fight this. If we don't see anybody and we're just like trying to fight on their side of the map, we have to wonder like, okay, why are we doing this? But we don't really fight it. Like Treant just gets caught and we're like, okay, we're gonna go in. We could have just let him die though, but I don't think that was going to be a particularly good play either. I mean, what ended up happening was infinitely worse. We all died. At least we made them use Chrono, but like either way, all three of us dying, so basically we lose 2 cores, the most important cores too. We lose me, and we lose Slark, and then we lose Treant. Like that was definitely bad. Part of the reason again is like Treant gets caught out, and we should just have vision. I don't know why we don't have like, we have this area sentry. We should have this area warded because obviously they have a ward here, right? So we should definitely be dewarding them very aggressively. We have no reason not to have vision on that high ground either. Like Techies has remote mines. He should be giving us vision all around this area. Instead he's playing on our side of the map, which I think is just an infinite, like just a very big mistake on this Techies part. He's just playing way too passively with his mines. But again, like flaming him aside, Treant was the one that got caught out, and I was the one that chose to try to make the engagement worthwhile, which was just obviously a mistake. Like I said at the beginning of this replay analysis, like, you know, we have a Techies on our team, and I'm not frustrated that we have a Techies because I don't think Techies is a bad hero, but I'm frustrated that it seems like this player doesn't really know how to play Techies that much because we've been playing on their side of the map for the last 20 minutes, and this guy's still mining up our side of the map. It's just kind of like, it's like, what's going on, dude? Like, don't you see where we're playing? Like, do you understand tempo? Do you understand the pace of the game? Do you understand, like, any of these very basic concepts? Like, we're playing on their side of the map, why don't you do the same? I don't know. Here they're going for Roche, and I think they actually get the Aegis, but I think we take a fight despite them having Aegis. And it works out for us, I think. I'm trying to remember. No, that's right. I was able to interrupt them. So I go in with my Minotaur Horn, and then I get ultied by Bane. The good thing about this, though, if I pause right now, the good thing about this is we know they don't have Chrono because they just used it, and Bane just ultied me, and Lina also ultied. So all of this is suffice to say that, like, they have nothing, right, basically. And I still have TP, so I can buy back TP in. And come in, and I have everything. Like I have my BKB. I don't have Minotaur Horn, but I have BKB, and we can just take we can pretty much take a very good fight. Here, I'm getting fissure blocked, which is really unfortunate. So I'm just like, fucking dude, like I'm just gonna take the fucking Roche on it. My blink is on cooldown anyways. It was on 5-second cooldown. I'm just gonna kill Roche, get bashed twice in a row, of course, because it feels bad and then wired shit. And then I was thinking to myself, dude, my slots are empty, and if this guy was microing this illusion, he would just kill my shit. Because I had this smoke and stash. But either way, I just take Aegis and all the other components, and I come over here, stun the Void, get back in first, then I stun the Void. I don't even care about the corrosive haste on the Lotus Orb thing. Like I'm just, I took the talent, by the way, in case you're curious about my Slardar talents. Like I pretty much go for the entire left side of the tree this game. There are some instances where you can consider the 275 health, but for the most part, I think you're going to want to take 20 damage. For the most part, I think you're going to want to take 60 bash damage if you're trying to play the hero even remotely like a right clicker, which of course this game I was. And then -4 corrosive haze armor is really powerful talent, and then also corrosive haze being undispellable, very powerful talent. Now a lot of people say that you should take the -4 seconds slithering crush cooldown talent, and while that can be good, especially if you have Ags and you're going for that sort of style of Slardar, I much prefer the corrosive haze undispellable talent because that just makes it so that essentially, if you can land corrosive haste on somebody, they can't fight. Like they just lose 24 armor. They can't manta it off. They can't BKB. They can't do anything. They just have -24 armor, and that's a lot of armor to just be missing out of. The ability lasts for a very long period of time too. It lasts pretty much like 18 seconds. That's the entire duration of most team fights. Like, one sec. Like it's a very powerful talent because again, late game people are gonna have Manta style, they're gonna have Lotus Orb, they're gonna have BKB, they're gonna have ways of purging corrosive haze. But if you take this talent, you make it so that they can't purge it, and you make it so that it's very difficult for one agility carry to fight the other. You make it very difficult for one agility carry to fight you. You make it difficult for right clickers to fight other right clickers. And so it's a very strong talent. I like it a lot. But either way, I give my Slark the cheese here. I'm keeping Refresher Shard, but I should definitely give it to Treant. Treant's coming in, though, so like I'm gonna wait. I was saying to my Slark, I was like, I think you want Refresher Shard, right? Because Slark is one of those heroes that, especially with an Axe, like he can make very powerful use, or very good use of Refresher Shard, but I'm just waiting for Treant to come in and take it from me. But it doesn't really matter. Like their entire team died, and they're just respawning and trying to hold off us taking their last ranks, but they're not able to do it. And this is kind of how we won the game. Again, it was a bit of a clusterfuck, and I'm not exactly like proud of how hard this game was. to win, but we still won it. And I think a lot of the reason we won it was because of me. Another part of the reason we won this game was because of Slardar, and I think the team cohesion was another element of why we won this game. I think Treant played pretty well too. But either way, hopefully you guys gained something from this replay analysis. I'm glad I could be doing this for you guys, covering a hero like Slardar, covering a match that got me to Immortal. I think it's my first Slardar replay analysis too, so that'll be somewhat cool that I could talk about this hero. But yeah, I'm Immortal now, so that's pretty cool. Twitch.tv/WireGuitar if you want to watch Immortal gameplay. I stream most days I can, I guess. If I'm streaming, then I'm streaming. I guess I don't want to make any promises about my ability to stream, because sometimes I don't. And you guys wonder why, so. But either way, I do some stupid found divey shit because they told me to. I don't usually like the found dive, it's pretty toxic. Either way, GG's, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.